I know I'm late. I was putting the kids to bed. So let me off. Right, I was putting the kids to bed. Hello, everybody. Welcome to Wednesday night's 40k show. Our weekly dose of chatting sensible 40k before we go into another game tomorrow night and then the craziness of 40k After Dark on Friday. Welcome back to the stream. If you're new here and you haven't already, please make sure you hit all those magical YouTube buttons that the YouTube gods seem to love us for. The likes, the subscribes, the bells, etc. There's lots of new subscribers joining us, so welcome everybody. If you are a new subscriber to the channel, if this is the first time you're catching something live, then thank you. Hit the like button. Thank you so much for joining us. Think about becoming a channel member and coming and joining us in the Great Hall. Got loads of cool merch ideas I've been working on the last couple of days, people in the Great Hall. Loads of things for you to buy from me if you really want to. Welcome all. Tonight's topic is an interesting one. Interestingly, I haven't turned off the interruption bot that you lot like to use so much. Because I don't think this is going to take me long to talk about, nor do I think this is going to be a one-way conversation. I think this is going to be more of a two-way conversation with you guys tonight, chat. And it's about boarding actions, right? So currently, we all love boarding actions, it seems. In fact, YouTube data is showing me, if you look at the thumbnail of the picture, that people wildly love boarding actions at the moment, which seems very, very interesting. Now, I've now played, at this point in time, 6 to 7 games of boarding actions, and personally I am in fact quite enjoying it at the moment. It feels quite refreshing. It's obviously new, but it feels like a change of pace from standard 40k and Tempest of War. Now last year we pretty much exclusively played Tempest of War because I wasn't a big fan of match play. I enjoy it more now with the changes to detachments from Arcs of Omen, but we didn't really love Nephilim, didn't mind Nachman, didn't love Nephilim, so we didn't touch it. So giving the channel a new way to play 40k, we instantly jumped on it. So last Tuesday, the first time we did boarding actions, which was members only, it was actually quite popular for members only. In terms of stream numbers, it was one of the better viewed members only streams. Thursday, we then went live last week to the whole of YouTube with some of our greatest YouTube viewership numbers that we've ever had for a live game of 40k that doesn't involve a collaboration. So if we include Mini Wargaming Dave and we include Titans and we include people like that, it didn't quite hit their numbers, but otherwise for just a channel stream it was incredibly well received despite the immense amount of technical issues that we did in fact have. Okay, fast forward to yesterday, and I've also done another stream on boarding actions and whether I think this is going to translate into 10th edition 40k, but fast forward to yesterday, and again the numbers were quite high. It seems wildly popular. Other stream channels seem to be getting a lot more views from boarding actions than they normally would do from standard 40k games. And I'm trying to work out exactly why. So, if we can talk about a couple of different things which are obvious, it's new. So because it's new and it's still 40k, it's not a different game like Kill Team or AOS or something like that. It's just new. It's a new version of 40k that you can play. That's an obvious reason as to why it's going to be popular. Okay? It's quicker to digest in terms of viewerships because a game of boarding actions doesn't take 3 hours.
New clock fund.
I was too busy fixing other people's shit. Thank you, Garsty. So, just saying. More on that later. But thank you for the super chat. You're a hero. Where I was like, so it's new to start with, right? It's quicker to consume. These are obvious reasons as to why people are preferring boarding actions. It seems it's easy to consume. It's quicker to consume. It doesn't take as long to get through a game of boarding actions. It's 500 points aside. There's no vehicles, flyers, all that kind of stuff. And so it is easier for the viewer to consume. And I wonder if that's because I wonder if that's one of the main reasons why people are enjoying it content-wise. You're not committing 3 hours of your life to watching a stream of 40k when it's just boarding actions and it's 40 minutes to an hour. I think we could probably get it. I did a battle report for DZ that went live in Deployment Zone yesterday, !DZ TV if you want to check it. And if you look at that, you get a 50-minute battle report last week. No, yesterday that we filmed last week. I think it's 50 minutes. Okay, now with normal 40k streams, or 40k games filming, you're talking like 90 minutes at least, and nearly double the time. So it's just more consumable. So even on demand, it's more consumable. And on demand, boarding actions from last Thursday are showing me a skyrocketing amount of viewership comparatively with normal Tempest of War streams, for example. So they're the obvious reasons as to why it's That's the obvious reasons, I think, as to why it's sort of popular. But I think there's a lot of other nuanced, not necessarily nuanced. Maybe it's not nuanced. I'm keen to know what you guys think on this as well. But I think there's some other things that make it popular. One of the big things for me that I think, and I think the main things for me is its simplicity. So I feel like the removal of stratagems, the removal of complexity like stratagems, relics, warlord traits, simplifying it down, no vehicles, beasts, monsters, etc., makes it very appealing to a viewer. Like, you don't get lost in the what on earth is going on, what is everybody doing. I think that from our perspective, showing you what's happening on the tabletop, it's easy to follow what's going on with individual units. And I think that simplification just makes it a better viewer experience overall. And you don't get bogged down and lost in admin, command phases, stratagems, command points, etc. I think that for me, that just makes it that even more enjoyable to watch as a viewer as well, which is one of the reasons why I think it's more popular. Now, if we look at one of the things I've gone on about forever with 40k, one of the biggest things I've gone on about with 40k is we need better entry levels for people overall, and things that aren't quite so daunting and overwhelming, in my opinion, to drag more people into the hobby. The way that this universe, hobby, business, everything grows, and when I say business, I mean Games Workshop. I don't mean me as a YouTube channel. I don't mean DZ as a business. I mean, the way that Games Workshop grows, ultimately, is by fostering relationships with new customers, by bringing in new, fresh blood into their hobby world. Because if you are content that you've got as many people as you're ever going to get, then eventually the money will run out. Eventually, those people potentially could have one of every army, the money runs out. Right? Simple as that. However, if you continue to entice new people into your hobby, every new person that's joining is buying an army, and then might buy a second army, then might buy a third army, and then they might decide to transfer across to AOS and play some AOS.
I think it's new, not more popular. Let's have a chat in a month when the sample size is bigger. Personally, I like it.
I mean, you've definitely gone a bit there, Kai, but we'll talk about that in just a moment. To be fair, I agree with you. So where was I? So yeah, so if you look at what's going to make them a more successful business in the future, let's be clear, right? I'm not telling them how to do their job. They've been successful so far without any of my help whatsoever. But ultimately, every business in the world, the way in which they grow is by bringing in new customers whilst, I might add, looking after existing customers. Sometimes they don't feel like they do the second one quite so well, but the new one is something that I think boarding actions help significantly. I feel like, as a new person coming into the game...
We love it because Joe wins. Team Joe, 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 Joe.
I like it when Joe wins as well, Steve. He's less grumpy. But boarding actions, if you come at the game as a new player and you looked at boarding actions and you knew that you had 1 HQ, 3 troops, 3 elites maximum, and it was either units of 3 or 5 or 10, that's it. And there's no stratagems, and there's only some warlord enhancements that everyone's got the same access to, and there's no relics, there's none of that nonsense, and you just play your game. Yes, you do have to learn Overwatch as an action, open doors as an action, fucking make something a sticky objective as an action, and set to defend to get you +1 to hit, right? Yeah, you've got to learn those 4 nuanced action things. But in terms of the wider game, it just is so much simpler for people. Like, I feel like I think that barrier of entry is much better. It's much lower for boarding actions than it is currently with Big Boy 40k. And then you can level up to Big Boy 40k from boarding actions because you'll have the core mechanics of the game down, some nuanced changes, a little bit of tweaking here and there. Shooting works slightly differently, allocating attacks works slightly differently, right? But on the whole, you can level up. And this is where I thought Kill Team should have always been. Kill Team for me personally, and I know a lot of people would disagree with this, and I'm not saying you're wrong and I'm right. For me personally, Kill Team should have been the gateway drug into 40k. There used to be a thing in the DZ Discord that went around for ages and ages and ages, which was hashtag just a Kill Team. Like, people go, I'm going to buy a Kill Team of...
Boarding Actions is the first 40k-like game I've been excited to play since I first started. Custodes. I am actually a Jordan, so this is hilarious to me.
Thanks, Denny Breck. You're a hero. Interesting, the first one you're excited to play.
For me, it's the lack of gotcha moments, which I think not having strats is a big help. Also the true line of sight for wounds and shooting.
So for me, James, both of those things are things I love. They also make sense. And again, if we go back to what I'm talking about, I feel like it is one of the reasons why it's more appealing to new players and potentially a better gateway drug. So going back to what I was saying about Kill Team, for me, this is what Kill Team should have been. So Kill Team should have been a simplified version of standard 40k, not wildly different rules. Now, for those of you that are going to tell me I'm wrong, I do understand as a business why you would want to create a completely different game system around Kill Team. But if you think the amount of people, and we had this a lot, again, like I said in DZ with the previous edition, where they would go, I'm just going to buy a Kill Team of Dark Angels because I like Dark Angels, but I don't want a full army. And they'd buy a Kill Team, and then I want to expand my Kill Team and have some different options. And before you know it, they're 2,000 points and balls deep in Dark Angels. Right? That was just a thing that happened all the time. And so Kill Team then kind of stopped being that gateway drug when they massively changed the rules for it. It's something that on the channel I'm looking to bring to you people in the future, because again, I feel like this is probably relatively interesting consumable content, Kill Team, because it's low points, easy to follow what's going on, probably not 3.5 hours long. But Boarding Actions now becomes that gateway. Boarding Actions now becomes that simplified version of Big Boy 40k that you can then level up to Big Boy 40k should you want to. Does that make sense? And I feel like that's one of the reasons why it's more popular. Now, back to what Big Bad Kai said right at the start, but earlier in the stream with the super chat. Thank you, Kai. You're a hero. You're a legend, and I love you dearly. I do agree with what you're saying. It's currently popular for, I don't think just because it's new. I think it's new, not more popular. I think it is more popular. And I think part of that reason is because it's new. So I think a huge chunk of the reason why it's currently more popular is because it's new. And I agree, we'll have a chat again in a month's time. So I'm completely agreeing with everything you're saying, but I don't agree with the fact that it's just because it's new. I think that's a big portion of why it's popular right now. I don't think it is the replacement to it being popular. Does that make sense? I feel like there's a number of other reasons as to why it's currently popular, like I've just discussed. It's interesting to hear someone like Steady Breck saying Boarding Actions is actually the first 40k-like game I've been excited to play. Like, that tells you something. And it is, again, it's because it's new. Maybe he'll play a few games and he'll hate it. Because there's another thing that I've been thinking of, and this is one of the reasons why I picked this topic today, because I've been thinking of this since yesterday's stream. And that is, I'm finding Boarding Actions to be, on occasion, quite swingy.
I honestly love the strats, gives flavour to 15 different styles of Marines. But I think there are too many, maybe 6 to 10 per faction would be better.
I have many opinions on strats, Dakota. We can go down that route.
Kill Team got me into Warhammer. 8 months later I had an Indomitus box and 2k points of Space Marines and Necrons. Original Kill Team used 40k rules and I played it a lot. New Kill Team isn't bad.
So I haven't played New Kill Team at all, Mandy, so I don't know. But yeah, see that you fell down that exact trap. That's why I think Kill Team should have always stayed that way. Should have always been 40k light. I can unmute you when you're ready. So I always think it should have been 40k light to drag people across.
So let's be honest. The narrative players want us to play on massive 12,000 pints boards to serious in building fighting to do a strategic objective. It's the scale change we love if we can play all of it. With aircraft. Pew pew.
Yeah. Yeah, I like... So, my opinion, Steve, personally, is we should have a combination of what is and what was. So, listening to what Mandy's just said, we should have Kill Team is the minimal version of 40k, one squad. One squad of Space Marines, one squad of Custodies, one squad of Veteran Guardsmen, whatever, one squad-ish, okay? Maybe 1.5 squads, but a Kill Team, single Kill Team. That's your baby version. This is what I would do if I was Mr. James Workshop, okay? Next level up, Boarding Actions. We go from 1 squad to probably 3 squads and a character, maybe 4 squads and a character, depending on how cheap your units are. Clearly Guard, they get to like 5 squads and a character. But still, it goes from Kill Team and it levels up to Boarding Actions. You've added in a character. You've added in a couple of mechanics like actions, etc. I feel like that's a reasonable growth period, right? Boarding Actions. So we've gone from a Kill Team to 500 points. It is quite a big jump then from 500 points to 2,000 points. But when you think the Strike Force actually starts at just over 1,000 points, jumping from 500 to 1,000 points isn't such a big leap. And then we're in Strike Force play and we're playing Big Boy 40k essentially at that point. We're playing full 40k, okay? And then we go to Apocalypse. And I still feel like Apocalypse should core rules-wise, be similar to 40k. So what I'm saying is, from Kill Team to Boarding Actions to 40k to Apocalypse, the core should be the same with nuanced changes to allow the game to work on these different scales. Does that make sense? Like, if you do that, you have the complete 40k. Okay, you have the complete 40k from beginner all the way through to expert, like Sir Hammerlot, who's got millions of points of guard. Okay, that's the way it should be, in my opinion. And then for people like us who want to run narrative events, it's super fucking easy to then inject Kill Team and stuff.
But I love you, but if I see you pick at the tattoo one more time, I'm gonna fly my sorry ass over and bop ya.
I'm glad you haven't been with me. Like, this morning we woke up in bed and Luce thought I'd shed a snake inside the bed. So, I'm just sorry, Ricky. I'm sorry. But yeah, if you did that, like when we're talking about we talked about Ricky. I'm sorry. But yeah, if you did that, like when we're talking about we talked about narrative event on Sunday, right? We talked about how great that narrative event was, and we do want to add in layered changes to the event as well. So at the moment, it's just 40k, just normal 40k. You play between 500 and 2,000 points. What I would like to do, I mean, it's going to be very easy, I feel, for us to include boarding actions because it uses the same fucking rules. Super easy to then go, okay, if you want to play 500 points, what we can do, instead of having a normal game of 40k, is instead you can move over to these tables and you can play boarding actions instead, and you could attempt to assault a spacecraft or of some sort, or engage in someone's battle barge, whatever, right? We can do that. If we currently wanted to inject Kill Team or Apocalypse, we're talking different rule sets, wildly different rule sets in some ways. Makes it harder for us to do this narratively. And I feel like that natural scale, you want to be bringing everyone in with a Kill Team. And if someone gets to a point where they can field an Apocalypse army of guard because they've got all the guard they need, and they might be the person that goes, fancy a Death Guard Kill Team. And before you know it, they then have an Apocalypse army of Death Guard as well, because they can scale their games with their miniature collection size and continue to play all the way through. And I feel like boarding actions, one of the reasons why it's so popular at the moment, not just because it's new, Kai, I do agree with you, that's a huge part of it, because it sits in a beautiful gap that exists right now. Between 2,000 points and Kill Team, there's a monumental gap, and I think because Kill Team's so different to standard 40k at the moment, I feel like that's still a huge gap. It's not even an easy transition. It's easier than just coming in from nothing, I guess. It's still like a starter version of 40k, but there's still a big gap in between coming in as a new player and learning the full game of 40k. I feel like boarding action sits in there. So not only from a viewer's perspective is it's beautifully short, it's easy to consume, it's easier to follow, there's less gotcha moments, it's less complicated, but from a player perspective, it's easier to pick up, it's easier to collect and be able to play, it's fun, and it's new. And I do think that even includes the fact that it's quite swingy in places. So like, I've played 5 or 6 games. There's a few games where turn 3-ish, 4-ish, the armies have hit each other and it goes very much one way. I think part of that is because the game's new to us as well, and we haven't learnt the tactical kind of finesse that we need to play boarding actions and keep it really tight for 3 or 4 turns. We have found that fast melee armies just win at boarding actions at the moment, but that might be just because Joe and I like fast melee and we just seem to be running at each other as fast as possible. But we are also Joe and I are also having loads of fun with it as well, which is very interesting. We're having loads and loads of fun with boarding actions. Loads of fun with boarding actions. And so one of the other things is fun and positivity is infectious. You look like you're ready to talk, so if I'm mute, fun and enjoyment is kind of infectious. So if we're sat there having fun playing boarding actions, people watch us go, this looks like a fun way of playing 40k. It looks enjoyable, doesn't look stressful. So I feel like it rubs off on the audience, and the audience goes, this looks interesting now, because they're actually just having fun and it's easy. The other thing from us, from a presenter's perspective, boarding actions is a dream as well, because we get a lot of time to talk to you people. So if you tuned in last night, we introduced the stream, we talked through our armies, we played a game of boarding actions, we carried on chatting to the audience as we reset. Brom swapped over assets on OBS. We swapped over armies on the tabletop. We went again. We played a second game of boarding actions because we plan to be live from 7:30 to 10:30 for 40k content. Sometimes we run over, sometimes we go up to about 11. But we plan to be live for 3 hours. We always plan to be live for 3 hours. The first time we did boarding actions, we were finished quite quickly. And I was conscious, when people tune in for a stream, especially when they're paying members as well, when they're paying members and they're tuning in for a stream, there's a certain amount of entertainment I would sort of guess you'd expect as a paying customer. And so I didn't want to do, we've done a 40-minute boarding action game, sweet, see you all later. So yesterday, during the day, Joe and I planned 2 games. We're like, if we finish the first one in time, which we probably will, we'll roll straight into the second game. We finished the second game at 10:10.
I love boarding actions.
Why?
Because you're all out the house, fairly swift. I love boarding actions.
But you say that, even if we talk about it from a partner perspective, right? It's smaller footprint. It doesn't take up as much space. You can play it on your dining room table. The train is modular. You take it all apart and put it in a box. And if you can play a game in an hour, like a lunch break, and your missus or your boyfriend or your husband or whoever it might be hasn't got to stand there and wait for a 3.5 fucking hour 40k game to finish, and you can play in an hour and pack it away, partners probably are happy with it as well, to be fair. It just ticks so many boxes. I think that maybe it needs a sprinkling of extra flavour to it, a little bit extra. If we go back to Dakota, I think it was, he talked about stratagems. Was it Dakota? Yeah, boy. No, it was James Hobbs. Sorry, James. For me, it's a lack of gotcha moments. And someone did talk about stratagems. They definitely did. That wasn't the super chat I'm thinking of. You're not the one I'm looking for. Someone did say something about stratagems as well. Was it? Who was it? Who was it, Luce? Luce, who was it?
Frank.
It was Dakota. I honestly love the strats. Gives flavour to 15 different styles, but I think they're too many. Okay, so James says no gotcha moments. Dakota says he loves strats. We need something in the middle. I agree.
Is it just a reflection of how tired we are of 9th?
There is a strong possibility of that as well, Gaz, to be fair. There is a strong possibility of that, and I'll go into that in just a moment. I've got some pseudo evidence there, I think, that agrees with what you're saying. So I agree with James massively. I don't like gotcha moments in 40k. I don't like gotcha moments of I had no idea you could do that, and now you're doing that to me, and I feel like I'm getting punished simply because I didn't know something that you could do that's quite obscure. Really, really against it. Something I definitely want to see addressed in 10th edition, because I feel like we should do everything we can to remove gotcha moments. So if, for example, we had something in place where you had 8 stratagems per faction, which means actually it's kind of feasible.
Make narrative BA. Recreate the Astartes video e.g.
I mean, I think it's possible. Joe and Paddy and Brom are fucking around with boarding action rolls tomorrow night with some kind of narrative story as well. I don't know what it is yet. It's Joe's mind, so it could be fucking anything, right? But if every army had 8 stratagems, okay? If every army had 8 stratagems, and that meant that when your opponent came to the table, you could say to your opponent, okay, what army have you got? I've got Tyranids, cool. Can you just show me your strats page? Right? If you could skim the 8 strats, and I mean skim because they're not worded by a lunatic, and go, okay, so you can heroically intervene, and you can do this, and you can do that, and you can transhuman, and blah, 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 blah. Cool. Okay, I'm happy with that. I know roughly what you can do from stratagems, and I know how many command points loosely they cost. That's cool. When your opponent comes to the table and they've got fucking 3 to 6 pages of stratagems across 2 books, you're never going to be able to stand there and read all them before the game starts. Okay? You're never going to be able to stand there and read all them before the game starts. So I feel like I don't like stratagems. I prefer Heresy's version in reactions. But if we're going to keep stratagems, let's trim them down to 8. And if you're not going to trim them down to 8, SN had a really elegant fix at the last No Retreat event. I've talked about it before. I'll talk about it again because I love this. They had the normal codexes with all the stratagems that are available to the codexes. And Pardo said you pick 5 and you put them on your army list before you come. And that includes the core rulebook stratagems like a CP reroll. You pick your 5, so when you turn up and you show your opponent your army list, your 5 stratagems are on that list.
Love boarding actions. Please keep on showing them.
We will. Inks, I promise you we will. So, there's another one coming. I can see it lined up before I answer some more of your stuff.
It's good cause Terry's no twining. Cuss OOODs.
Dave's been drinking on a Wednesday. Okay. It's good because there's no twinning. No twinning. I thought it might be a typo, Dave. So, Inks, we are going to keep going with boarding actions. We're going to obviously sprinkle in other content as well to keep it fresh. However, we are going through all the missions on YouTube on stream, and what Joe and I are doing as well. So you'll notice we did mission 1 and 2 on stream so far, and what Joe and I are also doing is off stream, we're filming those same missions with different armies, and we're putting them in the deployment zone. So if you're a DZ customer, not only are you watching the streams where we're doing the missions, but we're going from missions 1 to 9 on pre-recorded boarding actions games as well. And they are, I mean, the first one I edited was edited down to like 50 minutes. So it's consumable in a lunch hour, essentially. All right. So I think we're going to keep going with them at the moment. Go back to what Gaz said. Gaz's comment was, is it just a reflection of how tired we are of ninth? That's an interesting one. And I will refer you...
The limit on strats at the narrative event is something I love. It's not just selecting the best ones but finding out what other people run with similar lists. It all works so much smoother.
I have zero credit to take for that strat working, James, in the narrative event. That was entirely Cad's idea, and working it in with his strategic points as well. That was entirely his idea, and I think it was brilliant. It's nice, it's elegant, and the way he lets you use strats, I think, is really cool as well. It's one of those pieces of feedback that I said to him, genius, keep it. So, Gaz, back to what you said. Is it a reflection of a tie we're a ninth? So my answer to you is, yeah, I think we are tired of ninth. And one of the reasons why I think that this is certainly the case, and some evidence that I think we have to back that up, is Vanguard Tactics, okay? VT, they stream on Wednesdays. They do games of 40k on Wednesdays, and they're a competitive channel who sell an academy who coach people how to play 2,000 points of Warhammer 40k 9th edition, right? They have an academy, literally selling people how to play 40k, and they're all about competitive. They're all about competitive. Look at their channel and look at what they've streamed this week and last week. What they streamed this week and last week is boarding actions, because I think even Steve goes, I think people might be a bit tired of ninth. So they've been streaming boarding actions despite the fact that we have the brand new Arcs of Omen Warzone competitive mission pack out and available. You would think that the competitive 40k channel would be going through the Arcs of Omen missions and showing you the new missions with the new balanced data state, with the new points, and they're playing boarding actions. So maybe even they are slightly tired of ninth, perhaps. I don't want to put words in his mouth, maybe not. But I feel like it's a telling tale when he's choosing to stream boarding actions rather than streaming 9th edition 40k. Anyway, it's amazing to see so many grey names in chat, some people who I don't recognise, so thank you for joining us. If you are a grey name and you don't have a membership and you don't want to pay it for yourself, then ! Snipe me, all one word, okay? Just put that in there. You're right over there, Lise?
I think my chair or the desk height is messing up my neck, because I feel like I'm like this all the time.
That's your screen height.
Oh.
So your screen height's wrong as per DSE.
So do I need to put it on a shoebox or something?
We need to rate. We had this conversation ages ago about your screens.
Yeah.
Because you look down at your screens all the time on your chair because you like your chair high.
Yeah.
Yeah, and you look down at your screens. That's why you've got neck pain. We need to raise your screens. We can get you a laptop screen stand and a laptop stand.
It's just a faff. Can I not just sit at a desk?
No, because you sit at a desk and whinge about your neck pain.
But, like, why now? I've been sat at desks forever and it's never hurt, and now it does. Stupid bollocks, this is. I'm not having it. I refuse to be nearly 34 and aching.
As a man who used to be a display screen equipment assessor.
Oh, wow. Okay.
You need... yeah, that is a come to bed line.
I was going to say, that should really go on your Tinder profile, that one.
Oh, Carl, ESN Inks, thank you all of you for ! Sniping people. Snipe me. Thank you for gifting the memberships, your heroes. It's 3 people sniped. There is Angus, Lewis, and Thomas have all been gifted memberships, your heroes. We're heroes. Do we care about the story in Arcs of Omen and Abaddon? If I'm honest with you, Rabbit Holes, I haven't even read it. I should care. As the World Eaters player, I should care. I haven't even read it. It's enjoyable to watch because you're all enjoying playing it. There's less sulking going on. It's true, though. That's what I'm saying about it, Laura. Like, it's infectious, right? 100% think it's infectious. Absolutely think it's infectious. If people on camera are enjoying themselves and having fun, typically people behind the camera watching it on the screen is also having fun and enjoying themselves. Andre, a fellow DSC assessor. It's not something I'm particularly proud of. I was responsible for health and safety in my last 2 jobs, so I don't want to put chat to sleep and have people leave. So we're not about health and safety. Right? Some of the things we don't touch on the channel: religion, politics, health and safety.
I use my Apocalypse game box as a monitor stand.
A great use, Rob. A great use. I could do that, but I've got boxes behind me that are for display purposes, and you lot can't see all the shame hidden behind them. We'll get you a proper stand, honestly, and it will help. If you...
I saw this thing on Facebook. You lie down on it, but it's not a pillow for your head. It's like a pillow for your neck, and then it sort of curves. I don't know. Things off Facebook and your spine.
You need to sit up straight, with your back straight, right? Your legs should be basically at 90 degrees, slight decline. Your knees then should go straight down. Your feet should be flat on the floor.
Yeah.
Whilst you're set up straight. Your arms then should be at basic right angles. Your wrists should be able to touch the desk whilst leaning on your armrests without your wrist angles changing. Your wrists shouldn't do that. They should be flat, even when they're on the keyboard. You shouldn't be like that on the keyboard. If not, we need a keyboard rest for you, which is like this big pad that I've got here. You need a keyboard rest. And then your eyes should be in line with basically the top to top third of the screen.
Is that your life?
That was part of my life in the past.
Wow.
But guess what? I'm sat here with no pain.
Well, that's not true. You have a giant pain in the ass.
I do indeed. No, I'm not getting pegged. Abaddon will lose again because he's not allowed to win. Next story says Kirioth. Yeah, too much plot armor going on, right? Has she worked for you for more than 2 years? If not, sack her before solicitors are involved. Are you supplying her with equipment to move the screen? She hasn't worked for me for more than 2 years, Steve. No, so I probably could sack her right now. Don't listen, Luce. You should be adopting the hobby prawn position. Yes, the hobby prawn.
What were you?
Yeah. It's basically the war gamers version of fetal position, essentially, right? Tell us the testicle story again, says Gaz. No, I'm not going through that pain all over again. I'll go and say sorry to Cass. That was an accident. What was an accident? What have you done, Dave? Have you timed him out by accident? Brilliant. No, just don't say sorry to him. Let him think it was on purpose. All right? Just let him think it's on purpose. Apparently Abaddon had it planned all along. Well, no, says Well Hung Dung. What a great name. Well hung in dung. Well, I love it. Brilliant.
Kirioth says, back bend forwards, one leg under the other, leaning on one elbow. That sounds like desk attire.
Conscious of what I'm about to say and what chat will turn this into and the fact that they can clip it, when I'm hobbying, I get horrific hand cramps in my left hand.
Yeah.
Because you end up holding a tiny piece of plastic. Have I got something here that I can actually put on camera?
When I was swimming with the boys, so you got your little toe, and then like the toe that's next to your little toe, that's not your middle one, that cramped in the pool. I must have worried the lifeguard because I went from swimming to in the pool because of foot cramp.
What were you doing under the water?
I was like, oh my Jesus Christ, foot cramp in the pool, and you have to use your feet.
I'm one of these sadistic people, so I'm currently building millions of Cadians, and I'm one of these sadistic people that once I've clipped it off the sprue, I have to take the mould line off of every single piece before I start gluing. Joe told me off. Joe was like, why don't you glue it together, see what mould lines you can see and rub them off. No. So some of these pieces are tiny little arms about this big. So when you hold it like that in your hand and you're trying to scrape it off, I just get these weird, because I'm holding tiny little, I get hand cramps from holding little things, chat. I'm not used to holding little things. I think chatbots mugged you off, Carl, by the way. But where are we? Liam gets pegged, confirmed, says Ryan.
You were right, that was boring.
Thanks, mate. I appreciate it. You wanker. Literally went through that at my old job when I had neck spasms. Turns out hours of cereal diluting on too low of a desk isn't a good thing. It's not a good thing.
Yawn.
You retracted it, Dave, as well. She still read it out. You tell him, Luce, #LooseFacts, remember, you are the boss, not Liam. I don't think that's true, Colonel, to be honest with you. I had to get one of those pillows after a trunk smashed my head and squished my spine neck like an accordion. That sounds fucking awful.
A trunk?
It says trunk. I think he means truck.
Oh.
Yeah, I assume he means truck. If he means trunk, I'm interested as to how he was fighting an elephant.
I was going to say, why have you got a pet elephant in this country? It's just not practical. We don't have the space for people.
Dave, I get hand cramps. I should really hobby more. Yes, and I got sudden stabbing pains in my back, but I'm pretty sure they're not related, says Kirioth. I mean, they might be, mate, if you're permanent prawn position. You look after yourself, Kirioth. We love you.
Yeah.
Don't you go injuring yourself. All right? You look after yourself. If Amazon was to win, it'd be effectively old world Mageddon for 40k, and we'd all be back on hex bases playing 41k Age of Rupert. Yeah, we would. Holding tiny things and hand cramp. Know that feeling, says Carl. I agree with Joe. You're wrong. It's not the way to do it, right? I'm with you on that, Liam. I hate mould lines. I can't tell you how annoyed I get, and I know this is a me issue, and I should just change the way I do things, right? But how annoyed I get when I remove a mould line, only to find that mould line then gets hidden anyway by the way the model's built. But you know what? I know it's removed. Had to spray something at work today. Boss looked at me like I was a talking potato when I started to explain it too cold to base coat and the paint will dry in the air before you get a good You can't base coat in this weather. Yeah. I've just bought a new airbrush booth so I can get back onto... So last year, when we built the... fucking hell, okay. Back. When we built the first stream setup, it took so much space because I had so many bits of equipment that I had to take away and fold down my airbrush booth, which to be fair was fucked as well. It was old and battered and wasn't very good. And I was like, it's fine. I'll just rattle can and paint by hand. And I when I use my airbrush, I typically only really ever base coated with it anyway. And then what happened is I realised and I remembered actually the problems with rattle cannon. It's too hot or too cold or too wet or too dry, and it's just like you need to make sure you do it on the 7th Wednesday of the 4th month of every 3rd year, and then it might work and it might get a smooth base coat. So I've recently, because we've changed the stream setup again now, and I've built this PC, and I've may have to spend even more money on it. But anyway, we'll get there, chat. We'll get there with this new stream setup. It's worth it. You've seen the image quality. It is worth it. It has freed up some space, however, and I have bought a new booth from Element, ! Element, and it's beautiful and it's huge.
Your screen isn't high off the desk. Yours is on the desk.
My eyes are with the top of it, though. I'm comfortable. That's a lie, Liam. You have to hold a tiny thing. It takes 2 hands. Not everyone removes mould lines from every piece, says Boris. No, I know. It's shocking, isn't it? It's shocking. I fear your mods are abusing their privileges. I tell you what, Cass. I'll tell you what we'll do, Cass. Here we go. This will make Cass's night now. I slipped on ice earlier today and landed on my shoulder blades. It's too late for me to look after myself. I'm basically already dead. Yeah, I think I've engaged a new personal trainer and I'm looking at trying to get a bit fitter and healthier. And I'm just getting to a point now. I'm thinking the same, Kira. I'm thinking it's just not worth it, is it? It's a lot in life. Luce is married to me now, so she's trapped. So she's not going anywhere. I've got the kids, so there's no point in trying.
Yep, I'm the one that's trapped.
My name is Dave. I do not drill gun barrels. Lick my balls. Brilliant. You should drill your barrels. Always drill your barrels. I did the other day, the other day I made this guy, Commissar Gaunt, just because I wanted the model for my guard regiment. He has a bolt pistol, tiny little bolt pistol. It's drilled. I don't know if you can see it. It's drilled, right?
What do you mean when you say drilled?
So when you have I got an example here? I think I've got an example here actually at the moment. Maybe on this sprue there'll be an example. Okay, so see, I know it's hard for you to tell, but see this gun here, this big gun here.
Yeah.
The end of it is just a flat piece of plastic with 2 round circles to show what the barrel would be. You know what the barrel of a gun is?
Yeah.
The bit the bullet travels down.
Yes.
Okay.
I said yes.
So it's a flat piece of plastic. So once I've clipped it out and taken off the mould lines, it's just flat plastic.
Right.
So there's no hole for the bullet to come out.
Right.
What's the problem, Luce? No hole for the bullet to come out.
Is it?
So that's why we have these little jibbly wibblers, these little things. And you hold them in your hand like that, and you put them on the end of the gun, and you drill a little hole in the end, and then you've got an actual hole where the bullet comes out.
But nothing is going to come out.
Bullets come out, Luce!
No, they don't. They don't. The gun would be exactly the...
I think you'll find...
You could paint the shadow in there.
I think you'll find I've shot my guns at Joe, and models have died, which means something must come out.
You could just shadow with paint. You don't have to drill. You could just shadow it.
Fucking savage.
Maybe.
Honestly. Age of Sigmar's your game. Cass is blue. Yeah, he is. Yeah, it's the end times. I never drill barrels, says Khan the Betrayer. But you're Khan the Betrayer. Do you even have barrels? Just axes, right? I sprayed my death guard in the kitchen before now. Everything had a light dusting of paint. Yeah, I used to have a little shed. My old house. I used to have this tiny little like brick shed thing, and I set up loads of like newspaper and stuff like that so I could spray in there. And then as I was spraying in there, I carried on spraying in there.
Titans agree with me.
No, Titans is wrong. I'll ban you.
Titans agree with me.
I will ban you, Titans. And who is? I guess it's Adrian. I'm assuming it's Adrian. I will ban you. And when we moved out, and I pulled all the fucking newspaper down, I noticed that because I used to use a lot of Mephiston red spray for the Simhan, and I noticed that everything had a light thin coat of red dust on it.
Yeah.
Do you remember that?
Yeah.
And when we moved, it was like, oh my, it's fucking everywhere.
I even remember cleaning the kitchen floor and lifting the cloth up and going, why is it pink? And that was it.
Liam! I can't be bothered to drill barrel holes. I'm annoyed that we've got a couple of 40k giants in the chat, both Kirioth and Titans, and they both agree with you.
Mm-hmm.
Quite frankly, that's
Agree with
shocking.
me.
That's shocking.
See, it was my cottage pie that did it. That's why Adrian agrees with me.
The Eldar aren't firing bullets though, Mr. Dempsey. No, that's why I haven't drilled Eldar barrels, Garcy. I wouldn't do that, you fucking lunatic. Although, in the past, I have cut a little slit in. It took so long I chinned it off, to be fair. Oh, it's Adrian and Mel. Hey, both. I've got a bone to pick with you, Adrian, live on stream in front of everybody else. I've got a bone to pick with you, right? These used to be at 8 o'clock.
No, we're keeping them at 9.
And we moved them to 9 o'clock because of you. Because you set up your good talk, right? Which might happen to have been one of my favourite shows that you did. You set up your good talk. You're like, oh, we're going to go live at 8. I was like, no, you said to me, we're going live at midday. I was like, hang on a minute. That's 8 p.m. That's when I go live. You're like, oh. And then you just stood there and awkwardly stared at me like, well, we're not moving. I was like, cool. I'll move to 9 then, shall I? And I moved my content to 9.
Narsol drilling them ain't nobody got time for that.
not when you're making resin Krieg, Will. No, absolutely not. So I moved it to 9, and then Good Talk ran for like 3 months, and then you chinned it off. Just don't do it anymore.
But we're staying at 9.
But now I have to stay at 9 because Zeus was like, no, you need to stay at 9 so you can help me put the kids to bed.
Yep.
I had a good thing going, and you fucked it. It's your fault.
See, Garsty says 9 is better. Staying at 9.
Adrian's also said, does Liam know that the models not pointing their guns can still shoot in the game? Not in boarding actions. You have to be able to see. That's why I like it. I like to pretend when I'm playing 40k that stuff actually dies. We all live in a world of make-believe if we're playing 40k, let's be honest, right? We're all playing make-believe. That's what's going on. Like, none of this, it's just plastic toy soldiers stuff.
All right.
No, but it's true, though. Don't look at me like I'm licking windows. Like, that's true.
Not.
That's true, isn't it? Like, that's the thing. When our channel specifically, and there's other channels out there like this, you know, the less boring ones. When we're playing 40k, we're looking at epic narrative moments when that champion of the Imperium with 1 wound stands up to a bloodthirster and takes the last wound off that bloodthirster. We don't just go, oh, my plastic model's just killed your plastic model, remove it. We're narratively looking at how that would look in this epic moment when this big greater demon gets slain by a single guardsman with a bayonet, and that's how, like, that's why we love 40k. That's why we love it. We love it for those moments. Because if it was just, I've rolled some dice, remove that model, you're done, it'd just be fucking boring. Because most of us, I would argue, maybe I'm wrong here. Chat, tell me if I'm wrong. Most of us, I would argue, are in, and this is another reason why I think boarding actions is popular. You know, awkward segue there, but it works. It's because we're in it for the narrative. You know, you've got hobbyists, you've got there's people in their world that like to listen to.
Drill your barrel holes. Don't be a savage.
Exactly, Inks. Exactly. There's people out there in the world who read the narrative, who listen to 40k lore, who don't build any models whatsoever, right? And then there's other people who will just hobby and they'll build their models because it's cool and they can make dioramas and stuff. They don't play. And then there's the smaller group of us lunatics who like to actually play the game as well. But ultimately, the majority of those people that play the game is because of the lore, the narrative, how cool these things are. how they interact in the universe, and then we get to kind of recreate that on the tabletop. And recreating that on the tabletop is why we love playing 40k ultimately. Now, there is a smaller group of people that do just play competitively. They don't care about narrative, and they don't care about how their models look, and they just want to play 40k, and they're basically playing supremely complex chess to try and see in a tournament who's got a slightly bigger penis. But they don't really care about the narrative. But that's a smaller group of people. Most of us, we want to keep our cool champion alive. We don't want our cool champion to die. We don't just see him as a pawn piece in a chess game. We see him as, he's my cool commissar. He can't die. That's why I want to keep him alive. Those of us that aren't playing competitively, that is, by the way, to clarify, to keep those distinctions there, right? It's an imagination game. That's what it is. And it's one of the reasons, in seriousness, is one of the reasons why I love it so much. Because you have to, I feel like you have to, use your imagination. You have to use your imagination. It's not like a computer game.
Don't lick Windows, you could get window lean poisoning.
That's a terrible, terrible joke, Kai. We all have overactive imaginations, says Josh. You're right, yeah. Absolutely we do. The Traitor Guardsman. Type in ! Snipe me, okay? Do it. Single parent here of 2 kids. Got rid of the missus. She got in the way of my hobby. Too expensive to keep. Made the right life choice. Just saying. Right. We are cool as fooks, says Carl of Hodgie. Half the fun of the game is the investment in the story that's playing out. Exactly, Kyria. I couldn't agree with you more, mate. It's one of the things I love. Even when I go to tournaments, I'm like, imagine that's just happened and this is just like, there's something that's kind of lost.
Love an epic moment, like a solitaire charging a vanquisher and the Overwatch landing.
James, you can go off people. You can go off people, by the way, right? That's not funny. But this is like, if we think about modern day, 2023, we think about modern day, right? We don't just have video games and films and TV series now. We're even in a point where we have things like VR, right? We even have things like fucking, what's he call it? Meta, the VR universe, the metaverse, whatever the fuck he calls it, okay? Those things still exist as well, where nowadays you can put on VR goggles and pretend you're something. You don't have to use your imagination. It will literally show you that you're somewhere else. Imagination and creativity.
I'm a comp player, but I also like narrative, especially since it allows me to use units. That's not the comp, but what you said about the cron player, I feel like it's okay to not want to get stomped every game.
Yeah, no, it is okay not to want to get stomped every game. That's perfectly fine. But that's probably not going to happen at narrative events ever, to be fair. Well, no, I know. At the narrative that we were at this last weekend, I don't think we had 2 Necron players who thoroughly enjoyed themselves using their old rules. They didn't necessarily get stomped every game. But I do get what you're saying, and to some extent I do agree with you. But if you look at Metaverse, if you look at the way the world is now, kids even don't have to use their imagination anymore.
Those holes need to be drilled. Yay, drill those holes nice and slow.
Jesus, Mandy. It's not 40k after dark, all right?
It's not,
cool
it's not the dating service Naughty K.
Yeah, cool your jets.
That's not
I
what's
forgot about
happening
the
here.
dating service Naughty K.
Yeah.
We never launched that.
No, we didn't.
We should launch that, yeah.
We should, yeah.
Like Tinder, but you have to have a bigger swipe button for fatter fingers.
Well, it's like Tinder, but what's our catchphrase going to be? Naughty K.
Like Tinder, but less STDs.
But... I'm so close onto a catchphrase. It's in the air.
You can sit there and think about it for a moment, right?
I'll ruminate about it.
Thank you, by the way, so much, Carl of Hodgie, yes, and James, for gifting another membership each. It's 1 membership at a time now. It's January, right? You can tell. I'm going to update my tracker now to 5:15. Fuck you, January. Right, thank you, people. You're beautiful people. What was I saying? I forgot what I was saying now. Oh yeah, creativity, imagination, right? Kids nowadays. When I was a kid, we still had to read books and think about, like, my first experience with Lord of the Rings was the book before the film, and you had to imagine what things would look like. Nowadays, I feel like with the kids and things like PlayStations and consoles and et cetera, and VR and whatever, I feel like they have less need to use their imagination. The biggest thing that I played with when I was a young boy was not that.
Good night, folks. I imagine someday you will feed those kids.
Thanks, Kai.
Someday.
Thanks for feeding the kids. You're a hero. So the biggest thing I played with as a kid that wasn't my penis was Lego, right? Lego was the thing that kids of my generation, I think, and to some extent, some kids still do, but that's 100% an imagination game. You have to use your imagination with Lego just to create and build. I feel like we're losing some of that now. In fact, there was a thing on the news this morning about AI generating poems and not lectures, when you write something and it's essays, and using AI to write essays and stuff for schoolwork. And they're suggesting it's a real problem for schools at the moment because kids are using this AI bot to do basically their homework for them.
If you drill too hard or fast, you will damage the barrels. Get your minds out of the gutter.
Yes, you do damage the barrel if you go too hard and fast. Thank you, Mandy. God.
It's all right. Barrels heal themselves. Right.
Do they though?
We were looking at we were looking at this morning with the AI bot and stuff like that, and we did the very first good talk before Adrian shit on me and cancelled it. The very first good talk that he did, we talked about AI as well, and AI generating artwork for 40k. Now, basically, what it means is a lot of people sort of don't have to necessarily use their imagination anymore, and I wonder if over time we're going to see a progression towards less creativity, less individualistic artistic kind of license, because people won't be using artists to draw them something. They'll just use an AI bot, you know. And when we go into imagining a universe, well, why imagine a universe when you can just put VR goggles on and it exists already and an AI bot's made it for you? So you say AI bot, make me a 3D Middle Earth universe. I put my goggles on and that's what it looks like. Cool, I don't need to worry about it anymore. And so with 40k, this is a long, convoluted way of getting to where I'm going, by the way, chat. I warn you. Follow me on this journey. It'll be fun, honestly. With 40k...
Come with me.
When we get to the table... Yeah, exactly. When we get to the tabletop with 40k, I feel like it's one of those experiences where I can't use AI and I don't use virtual reality goggles, and it's what I see happening on the tabletop. It's using my imagination, it's using my brain, it's using my creativity, and that's what we're playing out. And I feel like that's one of the reasons why I love this so much, because that's something that I don't think you can replace. And we've had games like Dawn of War, we've had games like Space Marine, and I just don't feel like you can replace that tabletop experience, especially that face-to-face interaction with your opponent as well, right? So I guess that's one of the reasons why I'm so into 40k, because it isn't me just removing a model. There is a story behind it. There's a narrative going on the tabletop.
My pen looks like a Lego great fun.
Kirill said no one wants a loose barrel as well. Brilliant. Do they make barrel pumps? Chat's mind is firmly, Mandy, in the gutter. That is a fact. Just need to make sure the barrel don't snap, as that can be disappointing.
I'm still trying to think of a tagline like Tinder, but...
Yeah.
I can feel it. It'll come to me. I bet you I'll be slapping you awake at 4 a.m. I've got it. This is the tagline.
There's still some great names in chat. Come on, you fucking 6 gifted memberships tonight, you cheapskate fucks. That's 94 away from a £100 voucher. I think I'm safe with 6 minutes to go. I've also seen someone there. I think it was James. There it is. Adults probably play Lego more than children. Honestly, we went to Legoland before Christmas, which was wildly fucking disappointing, by the way. If you think going to Legoland at Windsor is a great idea on the last day that they're open before Christmas because you get cheap tickets because every fucking thing was shut. It was an awful fucking experience. However, we did book the Legoland hotel for the kids, which was fucking incredible. But on the whole, I have no doubt that I'm more excited at Legoland than the kids are. Guaranteed. Kirill says, here's a tagline, best tagline ever. Like Tinder, but you have to drill it yourself.
Oh, like Tinder, but no, I've lost it. I'll get it.
I still haven't tried the Sister Battle VR game. I didn't even know that was a thing. Okay. Love this at the end of my days.
Like Tinder with less sex. Like Tinder with no sex.
Basically, yeah. That's what it is. So there's nothing like Tinder then. Like, this doesn't work.
Yeah, Carl.
Yeah, Carl. When drilling, is it possible to go too deep? Yes. Always. I've had that experience a few times, Paul.
Shut up.
That's why I've had to get a slightly shorter drill.
Right.
Because sometimes I've gone too deep.
Oh, are we only on for an hour on a Wednesday?
Well, normally, yeah. Why?
Oh, I better get ready.
We can go for longer.
No, I'm tired. I've been making birthday cake all day. And we still need to do the balloons and do the happy birthday.
I can see
and
chat.
do the bunting.
Give me reasons to stick around.
No.
If you just heard all those things she said,
No.
more gifted memberships and super chats, then I have to stick around then. That's always been a rule, right? I went to Legoland with my wife before we had kids. I was utterly pooped and fell asleep on the way home. Hope you weren't driving. Yeah, I'm going to say, like, we go into the Lego store at Legoland. We've been twice now as a family. You go into the Lego store in Legoland, and I'm like, And Luce is the one that's like, no, you're not having a £750 Millennium Falcon. I'm like, but Luce, it's right there, look at it, it's right there. Massive bar. She's like, no, you're not having it. She's like, how can we afford £750? I'm like, well, we can't. Stop it with your logic and shit. I don't want none of that stuff.
We were going to write an email this time, weren't we? James was, he was really disappointed, and he said, what do you do as a grown-up when you're really disappointed? And I said, well, usually you write an email complaint or you go and find a manager. That's how grown-ups show they're disappointed. But then I think, like, the moments passed, he didn't want to write an email. It must be pretty alien, actually. Like,
yeah, I was
kid.
trying to encourage. I mean, he's 9 to be fair, but I was trying to encourage him. Like, if you're not happy, you should say something.
yeah.
And it might go nowhere. You don't have to. You shouldn't say something and expect something. But if you feel like you want to say something, you should say something. Ultimately.
Yeah.
And I think ultimately it was the burden of writing the fucking letter. He's like, I can't be asked.
I think it was, you can't just have a moan without backing it up. So if you're going to complain about the park, you need to write what is the complaint about the park. You can't just say that was shit, because the email will go nowhere.
Yeah.
And I think then he was a bit like, oh, I have to talk about everything I found disappointing. And it was like, no, not everything. You don't want to drone on and on and on. But then things that disappointed me weren't the things that disappointed him.
Okay.
So that was like, well, whose email?
What pissed me off was a number of things, to be fair.
It annoyed me that the
by the way, we're done with
boutiques-
40k now. We're talking about Legoland, just so you know.
It annoyed me that the boutiques
Thanks.
where you have to pay again were fully manned, but in temperatures that was it -1, and the hot chocolate stands for kids, they were closed.
This is what this. Okay, right. So you got, theme parks, right? If you haven't been to Legoland, this is pretty standard across theme parks. You have little, like boutique-y kind of things scattered throughout the park, and some of them sell hot food, some of them sell hot drinks. And Legoland's no different. It's got a number of these different places, right, where they can sell hot chocolate, tea, coffee, mocha, blah, all that kind of stuff, right? And then other ones where you can get hot dogs and chips and stuff like that. And it was, Lucy's right, so it's the last day they were open, so it's mid to late December, right? It was fucking freezing. It was during our coldest snap here in the UK. Ed, exclamation mark, snipe me. It was during our coldest part here in December this year. So it was literally like -1 with a wind chill of like -2 or 3. So Celsius, by the way, team, for you Americans. We're not talking in freedom units. We're talking like -3, -4 as it feels like, okay? So it was fucking gibbering. It was absolutely freezing. And then we were walking through the park, and the kids, their hands were they had gloves and stuff. They were starting to really struggle. Like, right, what do you want, Jim Jam? That's our eldest nickname. He was like, I'll have a hot chocolate. I was like, we'll get you a hot chocolate. So went to one of them, shut. Went to another one. It went, oh, we haven't got any hot chocolate. You have to go to the other one, which is the other side of the fucking park. I was like, Jesus Christ. And as we walked from one side of the park to the other side of the park to find this hot chocolate, there was a number of other hot drinks places that had the shutters down.
Loose denying our rights to randomly complain without using reason.
So they had the shutters down. All these hot drink places had the shutters down. Got to the other end of the park to find out that there was one that was open and we could get hot chocolate. But had walked past 3 or 4 different places where you have to pay more to shoot a basketball that you probably won't get, to win a cuddly teddy that you probably don't want. Mm-hmm. Like those ones. Like, they were all manned. They had staff in them. But the hot drinks places, and let's be honest with you, on that day in December, they're almost definitely going to be selling more hot drinks than basketball throws.
I wonder if to a point, if you're going to advertise your park, Legoland, at Christmas, then you're...
Like Tinder, but more STCs.
Then you're kind of banking on wintry weather because it's Legoland at Christmas. Shouldn't there be, especially for kids, shouldn't there be something free that's warming? So babies that need bottles heating up, kids that might just want a really small hot chocolate just to take the edge off. I don't know where the obligation is that if you're going to advertise people coming to your outdoor space and you're banking on the weather because you've marketed it toward Christmas, should you then, I don't know.
Yeah. It wasn't, our Christmas experience wasn't very Christmassy.
No, I've even said to Jim Jam, where do you want to go this year? Because we save up for the
New
whole
channel
year.
sponsor Liam. YouTube channel The Bearded Butchers. That, with the meat and beard care products, and you will have the Holy Trinity.
Oh,
Bearded butchers.
bit of axe throwing.
Cass, why did you time out poor old Tom? Tom tried to write exclamation mark snipe me and he wrote it wrong because he put a gap between the snipe and me. Cass deleted the message and then timed him out. He's gone mad with power already.
Mad with power.
I'm gonna have to remove him, innit? I'm gonna have to get rid of his fucking mod powers already in the first stream. Jesus, I mean, I swear at chat, so we can't. Anyway, thank you everyone for the super chat, your heroes. Big thank you to Inks, who's gifted another 6 memberships in total. So that's amazing. I now need to update my little body thing.
Ozzy has come up with our Naughty K tagline.
Has he? What is it? Let me hear it.
Naughty K, where every inch matters.
Yeah. Okay, we got rid of Tinder. Perfect. I like that.
Because
That
it's
can be
not
the
like
one.
Tinder at all.
That can be the one. Absolutely. Can someone confirm or deny the use of balanced data slate? What for, Dale? What for, mate? No typos. No typos. Banned. Cass
Typo equals death.
I reckon Cass accidentally timed him out. He's now starting to go, fuck, what did I do? I don't pick my mods on their technological based prowess. I just pick people I like, which means, sorry, chat, some of you are going to get timed out even though you did nothing wrong, apparently. Amazing. If it's too cold, you will just leave, says Mandy. Was that hot drinks to keep people moving around, spending money there? It just makes sense. It does make sense. Didn't make any sense at all for it to be fucking closed. I don't understand.
Yeah.
And then all, like, most of the rides were closed, and I get that from a safety perspective. We still paid basically the full entry price for that particular date, so that annoyed me. Luckily, the kids seemed to have fun anyway. That wasn't the worst. There's this big area in Legoland when you go into it, right? This is telling of nowadays as well. The kids gravitated towards it all fucking day. They just wanted to go there the whole time, right? They go into this big fucking, like, kind of like, I guess it kind of looks like a tent, and around the outside is all PlayStations with Lego games in them. Okay, they're all PlayStations full of the full Lego games, and the kids kept wondering, I was like, you're in a theme park, right? Do you really? I can't take them out time out, guys. I can't do it. Do you really want to go and play PlayStation in a theme park? But you know what? It's indoors, so perhaps it's reasonable to go inside for us. So we went into these Lego games, and they're sat there, and half of them are broken. Now, this is just a disgusting use of other people, because they're not just a little bit broken from wear and tear. They've been smashed, because some of the controls have been broken. Fucking the thumbsticks have been snapped, and it's like, do you know what? If we can exclude our community of people that watch us, I fucking hate people. People are the worst. They just don't look after anybody. It's just zero respect anymore. I'm gonna start sounding like grandpa. I'll stop. But it was fucking cold. So we're like, all right, kids, there is in the Lego rooms, for the family rooms, advertised as having a PlayStation. And we're at Legoland, so I bet they've got all the Lego games. So how about we put these consoles down with all the broken controllers that aren't working properly, and we go to the hotel room. Kids obviously instantly agreed. So we got back to the hotel room, put the heating on, and they had the PlayStation there. Room advertised, comes with PlayStation. Like, this is mega, brilliant.
We were even saying, shall we take some of our PlayStation
Yeah.
games? Because if it is chucking it down, or the park's too busy and cups are getting full, so to speak, we can then just go back to the room.
Yeah.
But
we got to the room, warmed everyone up, that's fine, put the PlayStation... And to be fair to Lego, got to the room, the rooms look phenomenal. And they had a little treasure hunt thing that they had to do, which opened up a safe, which gave them a goodie bag, and there was a giant fucking box of Lego each just left there as a gift for them, and a letter from Santa and all that kind of stuff. That was quite good. I'll give them credit.
Yeah,
Credit
it was
to you.
nice.
That was pretty amazing. And then they went, can we have the PlayStation? I was like, yeah, you can have it on. It had all of the Lego games, and they were all just demos. First mission only, that's it.
yeah,
Like, you motherfuckers. It's just a sales technique.
for me, it was the whole. So you realise the generation that you're marketing towards because you've put a PlayStation in the room, but then you also have completely missed the mark because of the generation you're marketing towards. They've all most likely completed all of the Lego games, so now they're kind of, they don't want to be ungrateful because they know what a treat it is to do Legoland, but you could see them like, it's just the demos. And when I was like, oh, okay, thinking, I don't know what that means because I'm not a computer game person. And then when you went, it's just the one level, that's it. And I thought, oh.
Yeah,
no.
It wasn't. I mean, we had a great time overall. The kids were happy. It was our little well done for them to having a great year. Big shout out Carl, who gifted 5 more memberships. I missed that, Carl. Thank you, man. You're a hero. That gets us up to 17. You're only 83 away from a £100 voucher. Just saying. Lego hotel rooms are great, says Boris.
So the room, for every hotel room that I've booked to go and visit my family, and we've paid for a family one, the Legoland rooms have absolutely nailed it.
Yeah.
Because they had a little section that was bunk beds for the kids, and they could have their own TV, and then the bathrooms in the middle, and then there's like the parent part of the room, again with your own TV, tea and coffee, so you can hear your kids, you don't feel the need to go in and check on them. And then the bathrooms in between you, and now that helps block the noise. So for them, all they're doing is providing family rooms. They've completely nailed it. It was amazing. But it was the park, and then it was the PlayStation, and it sounds really ungrateful and privileged and horrible, but you know when you think this was a lot of money.
Yeah, it's not cheap.
I went to Legoland in August. That was a mistake.
Oh, there's not a lot of there's not a lot of shade there either, is there, Will? Fucking hell. Cass says, wait, that close for a £100 giveaway. Manny says, how's Cadbury World? I was supposed to go, but we went to spend too much time in Warwick Castle and didn't make it before it closed. We haven't been to Cadbury World, but I think we're planning to go this year.
We're planning to go this year as one of my ADHD friendly topics, because on Friday the 7th of July it's International Chocolate Day, so we're just going to have to go to a chocolate factory and go and annoy the staff there.
Wait, what about voucher inks? Basically, we did this thing on the channel, right? Because I am sometimes semi-uncomfortable with generosity from people. That every single stream that we hit 100 new members, either gifted memberships or people signing up themselves. And I've got a little thing on YouTube that tells me how many new members per stream. Every time we hit 100, I give away a £100 voucher. Games Workshop, if you're in another country. Element, if you're in the UK. Or if you prefer Games Workshop, you can have Games Workshop. And if you're in another country, it's the equivalent to £100 at the current exchange rate. So, you know.
Right, we need to go because we've got balloons and stuff to do. Yes, we have. Yes, we have.
Save me, Chat Kenobi. You're my only hope. Carl says it's a bit dull. God no, with a E-year-old and 7-year-old, so much water was drank that day. I bet it was, yeah.
1-year-old, I think.
Cadbury's World isn't that bad, to be fair, says Boris. Okay, right, we do have to go because we've got to get ready for the eldest's birthday tomorrow. He is going to be 10. One of our children is going to be double figures.
I know. No. I said
old.
to him today, I remember holding him as a toddler and thinking, God, when you're 10, I'm going to be 34.
I remember holding him as a toddler thinking, fuck me, you're heavy.
He's going to be 10. Like, can you see, like, his jaw lines coming in now, and he's tall, and his shoulders are starting to get a little bit broader, and he's just so squishy. Oh, I love him.
Right, okay, on that note, if you want to hear more silly loose voices, have you got it ready?
Oh, yeah.
Oh, for fuck's sake. Gaz, you even gave her a warning.
Hold on.
But, Mum, just 5 more minutes. Have fun with the balloons. We've got this like, oh, Tom, you're back. I'm sorry for Cass, Tom. I'm sorry. He didn't mean to time you out, I don't think. I think he probably did it by accident. But if you want to in the future, it's !snipe me, all one word. Every grey name can type ! snipe me, and it will put a little thing in there to encourage people to snipe you. Dale, I know you've come back. Balanced data set on boarding actions, yes or no? So apparently, officially, the word is no. You don't use balanced data slate on boarding actions. However, on our channel, we've said this a million times before. We use balanced data slate on all of our content: narrative, boarding actions, full 40k, Tempest of War. We just always use balanced data slate. It's easier. We're using one set of rules. Then we're using the latest set of rules for every faction. We're always using it. I haven't had any official word from GW if you should or shouldn't use it. Steve Box from VT has said that they've told him you don't need to use it. However, if you read the boarding actions rules, it says for matched and narrative play. Surely, if it says for matched play, you go to the FAQ for the balanced data set, and it says for matched play. So I think you can use it. We will always use the balanced data set on all of our content. Even when we've done full narrative games in the past, and we did the Devastation of Barlish, we still used things like Armour of Contempt. Okay? Right. Thank you, Inks and Carl. What?
Don't tannoy me yet.
Don't tannoy me.
Don't tannoy me.
Don't tan me.
Don't you tannoy me.
Wow.
If you win a giveaway and you're an international, we can't send it just yet because Royal Mail aren't doing international.
Yes. Okay. I don't know if one of the guys who won a giveaway is in chat right now, whose name escapes me. However, there is a person who a week and a day ago, won a giveaway on our when we opened up the drop box thing that they chucked out at us. If you're in the US of A and you currently order an objective marker on our website store, because currently that's the only stock we've got available for merchandise, lots more things coming soon, more on that later. Or if you are, if you want to give away and it's not a voucher and it's a physical product that you've won and you're in the US, Royal Mail, which is our cheapest way of shipping to the US, by a lot in terms of cheapest as well. Mm-hmm. So our international packaging is like £6, I think we charge, and we make like 20p on that, because that's how much Royal Mail charges us to ship it to the US. And if we go to another provider like DHL, it costs £30. Royal Mail is currently not shipping abroad, because they had a cyber attack. Is that right?
They called it an incident.
A cyber incident. They had a cyber attack. They had a leak. They had a cyber attack, and so they've had a problem shipping to the US. So if you're someone who's won a physical giveaway from us, or you've bought products from us, it is coming. It will come, and we have it all here ready to go. We just have to wait for Royal Mail to go, okay, we're accepting parcels again.
So Aussie's put use Parcel Force. We tried. They charge like £25 for a small... And we love you guys.
He's laughing.
25
No.
quid
He's
for
laughing because of fucking Barry Dick. Luce.
Barry, I forgot about Barry. We should really Instagram him again and ask how he's getting on this week. How's your week treating you, Barry?
More snipes attempted. Thanks, Inks. Thanks, Carl. Thanks, Yestin. Thanks, Sam. A big thanks, Inks, for gifting another 5. Inks, you've given too many already. Yestin's now given too many already. Stop it, people. Stop it. It's very generous of you. You're all amazing. If you've been gifted a membership, !Discord, come and get yourself in the Discord server. Make sure you link your YouTube account to your Discord account. It's important you do that so that Discord knows what level you are and gives you all of the correct access, right? Tom, have you got gifted memberships turned on, accept gifted memberships? Click the big box from yesterday and click allow gifted memberships, because lots of people trying to snipe you and you seem to be dodging. My favourite thing is when people type snipe me and they don't click allow gifts. Because then the whole chat tries sniping them all night and they can't get them, but I get loads of extra memberships. So.
Hazar says it's all international posts, not just the US. Yes, I think Liam.
Is it?
Yeah, it's all because it's international.
I thought it was just US for some reason.
No, it's just US because at the minute it coincidentally is just US people that are winning giveaways and stuff at the moment, but it's all international post. So they're allowing it incoming. And they're getting through international that's already in the network, but at the minute there's a complete stop on putting new international post in the network.
Okay. So Carl's gifted 10 more. Rob gifted another one. I think Mr. Tom Chris Blackburn is on the troll, because I don't think he's got allow gifts turned on. Because that's like 1, 21, 26, 27, 28, 29, 30... 35, 36, I think, since he started putting Snipe Me in there and no one's got him. So either that or he's like a fucking bobblehead and the sniper can't hit him as he's walking down the road. Right, are we ready for the penultimate part of the show?
It's a good one.
Is it? It's
a good one.
She said it now, chat. She said it's a good one. Are you ready?
Lobsters wee from their faces.
That's bullshit. What? What do you mean?
I do know this. I think is it turtles or tortoises? They fart. No, they breathe out their asses. I'm pretty sure that's true. I saw it on a BBC programme, and the BBC is heavily regulated, therefore, it is true.
We out of their mouth.
I'm Googling right now. I will not have my reputation stained.
Lobsters wee out of their mouth.
Lobsters wee out of
I don't think that could be a thing.
their mouth.
Tom says he has got gifted memberships turned on. He's got allow on. Look at that. Tom is Liam, says Carl. I'm not that clever, mate, honest.
They have urine release nozzles right under their eyes. They urinate in each other's faces as a way of communicating, either when fighting or mating.
Stop for a minute.
Mm-hmm.
What was your fact?
Lobsters wee from their faces.
Oh, not from their mouths. You said from their faces.
From their faces.
Oh. That's
Did that just backfire in your face, darling?
Yeah, well,
mocking me.
I thought you said lobsters wee from their mouths. But
Turtles.
then I remember that someone farts from their mouth. Is that not just a burp?
Turtles breathe through their bum. Yep, turtles breathe out of their butt. There you go.
Sometimes, honestly, I wait for the knock at our door because of the way the things she Googles.
These animals breathe through their butts to survive the winter. Shall we have a look at which ones do?
Oh, Carl, by the way, Carl, you put us over the gifted membership requirement for this week. So you need to tell me what the new total is, sir. What's the new goal, Carl? That's the last thing I want from you. If I drop 50 and it don't get him, I want it back. I mean, I can't do that, but don't drop 50.
Frogs.
What?
Breathe out their asses.
Frogs breathe out their asses.
Snoozing birds. Butt breathing turtles. Well, we already knew that one. Sleeping lemurs.
Frogs breathe out their arseholes. Brilliant, Dave. Mm-hmm. Brilliant.
See, we learned stuff on here. We are slowly becoming the smartest percentage of the human race.
I don't think we are.
Every Sunday, Wednesday and Friday, we leave that 1% smarter.
Oh, by smarter you mean actually more intelligent. Power Pilgrim, thanks for the epic super chat, mate, with no comment. Did you want to give us a comment? Did you want to say something, sir, before we go? What a search history. She's got an amazing search history. I honestly think we're gonna get a knock at the door one day. MI5 will be like, excuse me. Google agrees. Technically the term is classical respiration, and it's not so much breathing, it's just diffusing oxygen in and carbon dioxide out. So
to be honest,
breathing.
If nobody knocked the door when I had 12% hydrogen peroxide and 6mm magnesium ribbon, then I don't think they're going to come knocking now. And then I was looking for an explosion cabinet as well, but that didn't.
Oh, Luce basically just looked like on Google for a while. She's like a bomb maker.
Yeah.
Like, don't let her on the local bus, for fuck's sake.
No, it's all for science.
Ozzy says, we're being treated. Multiple loose facts. Oh, Power Pilgrim did say, love you all, great community. Thanks, mate. They are. Oh. I was saying this earlier in the OnlyThanes. I was saying earlier today, I love our chat and community. And I said it in OnlyThanes, but I mean everybody. I mean all of you people in chat. I mean everyone from a subscriber to a liker to a member to Scold to all the way up to Asa. Hasir's included as well, actually. You're all amazing people. And I'm very blessed. We're very blessed to have you chat. I do a lot of comparison with other channels to see where we are, how we're performing, if we're doing as well or we're doing worse or what we can improve on. And I look for inspiration and all that kind of stuff, right? And looking at other channels that are significantly bigger than us, their engagement and interaction with their chat and channel and the way that their chat and channel behaves comparatively, we're very blessed to have you people. And I love the fact that we can just laugh at each other, we can take the piss out of each other, and we can talk about drilling too deep in each other's barrels. Mm-hmm. Right, you're all amazing. I love you so much. So you're brilliant, and thank you because you make me laugh a lot. I've been feeling, I said this to Luce earlier, I've been feeling shit all week, and I just about get the energy to go on stream despite feeling shit all week, and then I just have a good time chatting to you people. So thank you. But you just stop the super chats now because I need to go. All right? Boarding Actions feels like Hero Quest board game. I'll pass.
I feel I can take over from David Attenborough now.
I don't think I've ever heard David Attenborough going, a turtle breathed out his arse. That's something I've heard from him.
I picked up the Strike Force Imperial Fists Battle Force for my boarding action. How will you think this will do?
Space Marines. Yeah, I think Space Marines are okay. It depends what you hit. If you run into something like Drakari or maybe like World Eaters, you're probably going to struggle. But I think it'll be fine. I think it'll be okay. I think you'll be good. You in this community is wonderful, says Cool German Dude. Thank you, mate. You're a hero. You're all brilliant people. You're all amazing people. I've been working on some... Oh, it's coming through already.
Luce should look into Castorium Vanilla from Beavers. It will change your life.
Castorium Vanilla from Beavers. I don't know if we should be Googling that.
What, like the kids group Beavers? Did someone write a book about the kids group?
No, I feel like this is based on animal facts, Lise.
Oh, okay.
I think. I'm not sure, but I feel like it's based on animal facts. Possibly. Potentially. Anyway, just to keep you guys in the loop, I've been working on some new merch. So I've been talking to a company about neoprene objective markers. Been talking to another company about 2-inch die-cast bronze coins in presentation boxes that we will be giving. One of each, we'll be selling them on the channel, but we'll also be giving one of each to everyone who's a Thane and above as a special token to say you are a member of the Great Hall and to say thank you for joining us. Thank you everyone for joining us tonight on tonight's stream. You're all incredible people. It's been great chatting to you about boarding actions. It's good to see that a lot of people are still excited by it. I know a couple of people aren't, but it's nice to see a lot of people are still excited by it. So thank you for your feedback and input. It's interesting to know that you think a lot of the things I think as well. It's interesting as well that a lot of people think it might just be because it's new, which is cool. But it is new and it is fun and we're enjoying it. We'll be doing a little bit more of it, but don't worry, we'll be bringing some Tempest back and we'll be doing some competitive. Tomorrow is kind of boarding actions, but it's not a mission from the rulebook. Joe is making up his own narrative rules tomorrow night to torture Brom and Paddy with. I think he's doing things like you open doors and there's poxwalkers there or something like that. And I'm not sure, but it'll be fun. And then Friday at 9:30 will be 40k After Dark, and I've got a fresh bottle of Vikings Blood Mead to go together with Friday. I think I still have one anyway. I think I haven't drunk it all yet. Thank you so much for joining us. Thank you to everybody who super chatted. Not forgetting that 10% of that super chat revenue will be going to Models for Heroes, an incredible charity. Thank you to everybody who gifted memberships. 47 tonight in the end. Thank you so much. It was 6 at like 10 minutes to 10. So you're incredible people. I'm now going to go play with helium and balloons and wrapping paper and shit.
Yeah.
Thank you so much for joining us, and we'll see you in the next one.